everybody. This is Myla. I'm so thrilled to present this interview with JT Horenstein, a true star in the performing arts and commercial production industries. For those of you that are not familiar with JT's work, I'm going to show you some images from the reel that you will be familiar with when you see just a few of the projects and stars he's worked with. As you can see, JT is a hands-on professional. He's there as the architect of the choreography or behind the camera directing, and sometimes he's in there performing with everyone. JT does it all. Such a tremendous talent. If you're interested in dance, I know you're going to enjoy this interview. JT's energy level just lights you up. Enjoy! Hi, I'm Myla, and I'm here with JT Horenstein in his wonderful home in Toluca Woods, California. Hi, JT.
Hey, how are you, Myla?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on today.
Oh, well, thanks for having us here too.
Of course.
This is wonderful. By the way, I would like to thank you for accommodating us today.
Of course.
Yes. And before we begin, we're so happy to see that show. What was the scholarship show?
Oh, for the Edge this year.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, this past weekend we just did
Yes.
the Edge scholarship show called Kin, which featured 16 different choreographers, some of which had to do with the actual Edge Performing Arts Center, and some of them were guest artists, such as Michael Rooney and Jackie Royal. And, and then we had our regulars.
Yes.
You know.
But the most wonderful, it was on fire. Your choreography.
Oh, you liked my
Oh
piece?
my God. It's one of those that you're sitting there, you're on the edge of your seat and you're going, I want more.
And that's what I was trying to do. That's what I was,
Yes.
I wanted to give the audience a piece of my brain, basically. I wanted to say, this is my movement and this is my style, but I've got a through line and I've got a cohesive story to tell that has some high stakes.
Exactly.
And so it really did make people sit on the edge of their seats at the beginning and at the end.
Oh my God.
But then in the middle, you got a Hollywood production number.
Right,
So
that's correct.
it kind of fulfilled all of my needs for a musical theater piece.
I still remember Hard Times, right?
Hard times.
There you go.
And they were.
They were hard times.
Hard times.
Okay, next is, I would like to ask you some few questions, but I really wrote it down because I don't want to miss it.
Don't miss a thing. Do it.
I don't want to miss it.
Read them off.
Okay.
Don't confuse me though.
I won't.
Okay.
Be cool.
Okay.
First question is, how young were you when you first started dancing?
Just like moving around dancing or professionally?
Moving around dancing and gearing towards professionalism.
Well, Myla, it all started at a dinner party that my parents had at my old house in South San Francisco, California. And they had all the important executives from my dad's company. My dad played the piano.
Wow.
And I would sing a little bit, and I was probably about 3.5 or 4. And it was that evening that my mother recounts that I did my first movement, like I did my first dance, and it was to a Scott Joplin ragtime song. I forget which one it was, but I could probably, I think it was the theme, whatever the theme song was of that movie, The Sting.
Oh yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
That's my hit.
Oh wow.
So I started doing very interesting movement, and my mother thought, wow, this kid can actually move. He was very entertaining, he could sing, he could dance, and so from that point on, she was just very proactive with my interest. She didn't force me to do it. She just knew that I enjoyed it so much that I actually went the singing route first. So by age 7, I had my first big audition, and that was for the San Francisco Boys Chorus of San Francisco Boys Chorus. And I was a high soprano, and I got all the solos, and we toured the world and did all these wonderful things and concerts, and this was all before I was even 10.
Wow.
And then from there, that gave me the confidence to then audition for community theater or local professional theaters in the San Francisco Bay Area. And that was then, at that point, I think I was 10. And that was my first real dealings with, like, a professional choreographer or somebody that would give me steps that I had to learn, encapsulate, memorize, and perform.
But did you went to school, sort of, like started
Like dance classes and
Dance
stuff?
classes.
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I did go to vocal lessons. We were dumping all the eggs in that basket that I was going to be this major vocalist, which I ended up having a singing career, and then it just parlayed its way into what I became today.
Yeah.
But it was because of that first show, which I believe was The Music Man, and I had a big dance role in that, and I was untrained. But there was a woman named Pat Bartholomew, and I believe her name now is Pat Colgate, who still lives up in the Bay Area in Northern California. And because I liked her so much with her patience and how she could teach me, she became kind of a mentor, a role model for me. She was very Broadway, she was very Rockettes, very old school, but at the time, I mean, it was the 70s, the 80s, so that's what they were teaching, you know, it was different than today.
Well, but that's where you get your foundation, actually.
And she gave me my foundation. It was solely her.
Right.
She basically taught me how to dance from my very first step to a pas de bourrée, to a chaîné turn, to anything I could do, acrobatics, tap, everything. Everything I learned from her.
Yeah.
And I didn't stay with her very long, but I moved to another dance studio that was called Dance Arts Center up in Foster City, California, and that was run by Burl Davis, who incidentally dated my mother in high school.
Oh, wow.
And he then took me to the next level, and then within his choreographic work, I would audition for, which it's now called Broadway by the Bay. It's an equity theater. It's a really great professional theater. In the day that I was involved with it, it was called Peninsula Civic Light Opera. So we would do shows like Peter Pan, that was originally choreographed by Jerome Robbins, or 42nd Street by Gower Champion, or, you know, big Broadway shows. We'd rent the Broadway sets, the Broadway costumes, and then Burl Davis would reenact the Broadway choreography. So I was kind of learning from the horse's mouth, and he had been in some of these Broadway shows.
Of course, yeah.
So that was great training for me. So I did that at night, and in the afternoon I went to dance class, and even in high school, I was the first boy ever in my high school to be in their dance production. So from that point on, I merged both singing and dancing.
Well, that's great because your parents also supported you.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. And
that's the key because, you know, you have to have somebody supporting you.
And to be a male dancer back then, when there weren't very many.
Exactly.
And the male dancers that did exist were, you know, fairies or gay or whatever, and it was very derogatory. That was a whole other social implication to deal with in high school.
Exactly.
All my other friends are, you know, on the football team or on the soccer team, and I'm, you know, the guy in the jazz pants lifting a girl somewhere in some ridiculous sparkly costume making people clap, right? So there's an interesting dichotomy there.
Wow, that's great. A really good start, really. You know. What inspired you to be a dance professional as opposed to another career?
Well, it was definitely the money.
That's what I was gonna say.
No.
No?
I would say
fame, fortune and fame, of course.
Before the fortune and the fame, which I don't know if either of those have really worked out for me, but I get some good jobs once in a while. The undying passion that I actually couldn't do anything else. If there was something else that I was really great at that I could dump my energy into and make that my life, like if I could be a landscape architect or a gardener or a sheep herder or a doctor or a pharmacist, believe you me, I would have chosen that other path.
Really?
Well, yeah, being a performer and being a professional dancer, dance teacher, choreographer, director, it's a hard life.
Exactly.
You know, you don't know, you're a singer, where are you getting your next job? Sometimes you don't know.
That's right, yeah.
Where's my tuna casserole coming from? Who's paying for that? Where is this gonna, when you're starting to build your career, there were weeks/months
that you don't have anything
that I actually didn't understand where I was going to get my next meal unless I would do that phone call. Hey Dad, I'm in a situation again. And you know, you get to age 22, 23, it becomes embarrassing.
Yes, exactly.
And you're done with college, if you go, and it's time to become an adult. So being in the dance world, for me, what helped was being able to sing, act, and dance. It opened a lot more opportunities up.
Exactly.
Limiting yourself to just one art form, if you do have the talent for others to combine them, it's just going to open up a whole other door for you, as well as one of those art forms may enhance the other art form, and it may change your delivery, and it may change your perspective when combining. So don't limit yourself. If you think that your end goal is, I want to be on So You Think You Can Dance, I want to be in a contemporary dance company as a start. Well, imagine if you had taken an acting class, right?
Right.
And imagine applying all of those techniques and tools to breaking down a monologue, to your choreography, to get your message across to the audience. you better believe me, if you have that
Exactly.
skill, you're going to book way more than just somebody who's been pointing their foot every day for 12
Exactly.
hours.
That's for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, that's great.
did I answer your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. Okay, you've done it all, so this is about the end of, what kind of jobs have you been doing right after, you did all this training and stuff like that?
Well, my formal dance training then was interrupted because I went to school. I went to Northwestern University in their music school, and I was a performance of opera major.
Mm-hmm.
And I went toward the classical. So right after school, I got a couple of more classical type shows like that, and then it became a little bit more theatrical, some Gilbert and Sullivan type shows, which included more production, more dance, more
Right.
hoopla. And I found myself, even throughout college, and even before at PCLO, when I was Peninsula Civic Light Opera, when I was a kid, I found that I wanted the whole package. I wanted acting, I wanted singing, I wanted dancing. It's a dance break with Myla.
Woo! Yeah. Here we are. We're giving you a sample of what we can do, right?
Okay. Thank you for that scheduled commercial.
That's fun.
That was good.
Yeah.
I hope another song comes on soon.
Yeah.
Like a tango or something.
Exactly, so we can stand up
Exactly.
and just do our thing.
So the range of jobs, basically, after I got the whole opera thing out of my system, I moved to New York and said, I just need to be on Broadway. I wish that I had known about Los Angeles, because the opportunities in LA, there's a million more.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. Anyhow, I would have done that differently. But I went to New York and I did what I did, and I did some Broadway shows, and I did some tours, and I worked with some artists like Liza Minnelli and Bette Midler and big iconic people, and backup sang for them or danced for them, or did The Who's Tommy and did a European tour of that, or I did Michael Jackson's Sisterella or Grease on Broadway or whatever. So I fulfilled that, but then realized that as a chorus dancer person that would sometimes get to understudy or swing a lead role, your career kind of caps off.
Right,
And so there's not a lot of growth, spiritually, creatively, or financially. So I had to kind of take a moment and say, what do I really want to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to go to LA.
Oh, I see.
So I left, I packed up, I consolidated everything I had into like 3 boxes. I did bring my bed because I found a comfortable one, so that's what I brought.
Is that what the sleep number thing?
No, it's the one that's still in the back bedroom. I still have it. It's so comfortable. I love it.
You still carry it with you when
I
you
do, on my back, like a carpetbagger. That's what I do. I just walk. But I also brought my 130-pound golden retriever.
Oh.
And came to New York with the dog, the bed, 3 boxes, a toothbrush, no agent, and not knowing anything.
Oh my goodness.
Moved into my best friend's house, who was an actor, this straight guy I went to college with. We were just super close, and I always knew I had a place to stay. It was that house up in the hills that I showed you years ago.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And I stayed there, and on my second night here, this was a miracle. This rarely ever happens, and it's happened to me in my life twice. It happened for getting the Liza Minnelli tour, which was a fluke in the middle of the night in New York. And cut to this one. I go to this club, I believe it was called Atlas, and it was downtown Los Angeles. And from one of the jobs I did, I met one dancer friend, and she brought me to this event. Well, this was the event to go to for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And Keith Young, major choreographer,
Right.
Otis Salid, major choreographer, director, all of these people were there. And I got introduced directly to everybody. So Otis says to me, I recognize you from something. We figure out that he's seen me in something. He's starting a new job tomorrow. Can you do it?
Wow.
And I was like, well, you've never really seen me dance. You don't know who I am. But whatever, I'll take the job. So I go to the address. I don't know what the job is. I go to the address. And it's Prospect Avenue, ABC Studios. So I know it's a decent job, because this is at ABC Studios.
Exactly.
Like, we're not going to, like, Vivid Entertainment right now, if you know what I mean.
Or one of those warehouses.
Or one of those warehouses. Sketchy.
Yeah.
So I go there, and he starts just kind of dancing around. We have a live pianist. Well, come to find out, we're preparing for the audition to cast 75 dancers for the big musical dance number for the Academy Awards.
Whoa.
And this is my first job to like assist this guy, be on his skeleton crew.
You're kidding.
I don't know anybody in Los Angeles, but that was important to him, because I could then go behind the table of the audition not know any of these it was a sea of 1,100 dancers.
Wow.
And I could just truly give him my opinion to say that person's good and they fit, that person's good.
Oh,
Not
wow.
based upon reputation, not based upon friendships, not based upon politics.
It's
Just who's good.
Right.
And he said that was really valuable.
Wow.
So that was my first job, which then led me to get my agent. And then I started a tap dance company, and I tried all these things. Cut to the chase, I did all these choreography jobs working with, I don't know, Garth Brooks and Ricky Martin and Lenny Kravitz and Sheryl Crow, and music videos and TV commercials and some episodics and Mad TV and some corporate jobs. Tons of stuff. It was all really going great.
The door just swung
open, and I thought, God, I wish I had moved to LA 8 years ago, you know?
Well, you were so young then too. You know?
Maybe I wouldn't have been ready. The timing was perfect.
Exactly.
Not to say I haven't had my dry spell since I've been here, because everybody does. But I've been lucky, and I've gotten to work on Dancing with the Stars, and America's Best Dance Crew, and NBC's The Sing Off, and just other older TV shows that were super fun and impactful for me. And every job I go into, I learn a new skill. Like when I did Dancing with the Stars last season, I did a big special for the AT&T Spotlight number, like a human interest story.
Right.
And it was this tap dancing guy. I think I might have shown you the video.
Yes.
But what I learned on that from working with this really amazing TV director named Alex, who does every episode for Dancing with the Stars, is how he aligns his shots for the camera, and how he has 9 cameras, sometimes 12 cameras, that he can actually, to the rhythm of the music, call the shots as to what camera is capturing what and when.
Wow.
And how he does that.
How many?
Live. 9 or sometimes 12 cameras. Wow. It was a lot of cameras.
Right.
And it was like he was doing choreography. So I had never worked with anybody like that, and I thought that was really cool. So that was like another little add-on to my...
Right. And I believe that you're doing, what do they call it, industrial, commercial?
They're called either industrials or corporate entertainment jobs, and I found myself doing a lot of them for many reasons.
I know.
You can be creative, especially if you're the creative director and not just the choreographer, which I've now worked my way up to, which is really nice.
Being a director.
But not only the stage director, being like an overall creative director for a whole event for a corporation. I mean, you get to brand everything, you get to design everything, come up with concepts, write keynote speeches, make sure everything's cohesive and totally planned out, including choreography, including anything. But now I'll hire a choreographer to come in and do that.
It's like you're doing the whole show. It's like
I've taken a step up for these. So right now I'm working on a Nissan one. That's a huge production that we're doing down in Brazil. For about 3 seasons, I was a creative director for all the live events and webisodes for Nike and Nike West. I did the CES in Las Vegas.
Right.
And I did that for the keynote speaker for Samsung, Oracle, Compaq, big companies. A lot of automotive. Just did this huge pitch a couple weeks ago to Hyundai, which was amazing. A giant show that would take place here at Anaheim.
Right.
And that, to be honest with you, even though the sad part about it is that nobody sees your work except for those people, that client, because they're private shows. So you don't get reviews, you don't get written up, you don't get that celebrity hoopla.
Yeah.
But what you do get is an amazing paycheck, A. B, you get that opportunity to have all of these very expensive resources at your fingertips to play with and craft and toy with. So I can basically workshop all my creative ideas to use for other shows down the line on somebody else's bankroll.
Right. So in that light also, people will sort of discover you through online and stuff like that and keep hiring you.
Yeah, and that's what's been happening. I mean,
I
just had my first automotive job last season, and to get an automotive job as a creative director, you really have to know your material, and you really have to do the research in terms of what's the construct of that particular company, how is the car made, what are the new features, what are the innovations, what are they trying to do in terms of sustainability, just everything overall.
Wow.
And then you kind of see what their demo is and how they sell things and what their current branding is and how you can be inspired by that, but then change it up a little bit to present something new for their event.
You also want to promote something that you believe in.
Correct.
That's exactly what it is.
And that's been really interesting. So when I've been researching Hyundai or Nissan, I've learned about it so much that I actually, they have brainwashed me, because I believe in their product now. Whatever has happened, it's been a good thing, And with all the knowledge and research, I look, especially at Hyundai, I was really looking at
Really?
them as a company and a corporation and how aware they are about the environment.
Really?
And how they're really building their cars. And it's the trickle effect. And people that are the dancers that get booked on these industrials, they don't realize that the big picture is coming from somewhere way up there, and then trickle, 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 there's an event, and then trickle, 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 there's a creative director, and then a director and a script. Oh, and there's a dance number, let's hire dancers.
Right.
So those are those people that sometimes those dancers on a corporate event, they really don't even know why they're there.
Exactly.
They're just told to dance.
Because, you know, what's going on here? This is a car sort of
Exactly.
thing.
It's like a car commercial.
We?
What are we doing here? But like for the Nissan Brazil thing, I have these amazing flamenco dancers coming down. Some of them are actually from Rio, so they're coming up. And they know the story because with Nissan, with their new factory build out that they're doing 20 minutes from Rio, it's basically going to jumpstart their economy as a country.
Good.
And their banks are behind it, their government's behind it, and it's going to provide, you know, thousands of jobs, new housing.
Yeah.
But so those dancers in the show realize, wow, we're doing performances to make these Nissan execs feel good, to make them do their jobs better, to make their company succeed, to create this new city, basically, with jobs and housing and schools, which is now helping our government, which is now helping our country, which is now affecting global. So the dancer's job is doing something bigger.
Yes.
They just don't know it. But I know it.
Yeah, well, you know, there you go, you know.
Yeah.
Well, next question is, what sort of exciting stuff do you have going on next?
Next. Currently, finishing this Nissan job, which is done very soon. Right now I have this new project that I've created with an amazing dancer choreographer. Her name is Melinda Sullivan. She was the recipient of this year's ACE Award, which was Achievement in Choreographic Excellence.
Wow.
And it's given to you by Capizio. And she won a prize package which includes the producing of her idea from this 4-minute piece that she presented to turn that into a full-length evening show revolving around dance. So
what's the theme of the...
it's a multi-generational story where all of these stories with the granddaughter, the mother, and the grandmother, the 3 generations of women, where we see how their paths overlap or disconnect, and how that causes the person lower than them in the generation ladder to be affected with their choices that they make in their life. The hard obstacle about this show was to get the plot across solely using dance movement and sound that people are making with their feet. Because it's a rhythm sound theater project.
There's no actual music or something?
There's music. We hired a composer. He's like a chamber music writer. His name is Nikos. He's a complete genius. And we would describe what we wanted each scene to be, and then he would score it kind of like a film. So his music, melodically, would tell you the story, but there's no lyric.
Oh, wow.
So our job, my job as the writer of the script and the director of the show, because Melinda's the choreographer of the show and the star of the show, was to tell this story in a concise and cohesive way to get the point across to inspire emotion from the audience without using anything verbal.
That's kind of hard though, you know.
There was a show that I did though a long time ago, a few years ago, that you guys came to called The Question. Remember that?
Yeah, that's
About
right.
the jury?
Oh yeah, I love that one.
So that was a great show for me,
Love that
and it's
one.
like this.
I love that one.
But The Question had help because The Question had 22 songs with lyrics that helped forward the story, or at least set the tone of each scene. This you have to create with nothing.
Wow.
So this is taking place, I leave for New York next week, and we have another week of rehearsals there at Alvin Ailey, and then there's a theater underneath Alvin Ailey, a beautiful dance space, a theater, and we open on August 5th in New York City, and the project is called Gone, and look online about Gone.
We will. I will. Okay, on to the next one. What is your advice to the dancers that are serious about professional dance career?
First of all, make sure you're serious about it. That's A. B, question yourself, is there any other thing in your life that you could possibly do to fulfill this passion that you have? Because if there is, then dancing's not right for you because the life is too hard. So if you decide to be a lawyer or a dentist and that can fulfill your passion and make your soul feel whole, then definitely turn away from the dance studio professionally and do something else. Because this life is not for everybody.
Well, you could probably like do dance as, you know, just for fun or a passion or whatever.
That's different.
But making money and making a good living.
Trying to figure out, it's not only making money and making a good living, but it's about getting the kind of jobs that fulfill you creatively, which is rare.
Right.
And also being able to build your career ladder in such a way that once you hit that top rung, you've worked with all the great choreographers, you don't have to go to auditions anymore, you're being direct booked. And then from there, you start to turn into your 30s or 40s, or sometimes even younger, and you start to either assist the choreographer, or you've already done that, so you turn into the choreographer with your eventual goal to be a director or just a really high-powered choreographer.
Which is now you're doing.
I mean, in a way,
and all that,
there was a lot of choreography that I skipped over and then just became a director.
It will make it easier for you in that way, because now you're doing other things and somebody else is taking over. You know.
But the advice to the dancer is listen to your teachers. Also make sure that your teachers are good teachers. Don't be disrespectful about it, but do your research.
Yeah. Don't walk out of the room when...
No, I
I've
mean,
seen that
but just know that your mentor or the person that's teaching you your basic dance technique really have their own together.
Right.
Because there's a lot of hacks out there.
That's true. That's
so you have
true.
to just be careful.
Yeah, use your own judgment or some kind of thing like that.
And take a business class. Know how to do your taxes. Know how to find an agent. Know how to self-market.
There you go. Because if you're missing that...
That's half the battle.
Half the battle. Yeah, half the battle. Yeah, that's true.
You can be a great dancer, but once you are asked to sign a contract but you've never read a contract before, or you don't know how to contact a lawyer, or you don't have an agent, or you don't know what the business of it is, you might as well not take the job.
Exactly, yeah, because you're not going to be making anything.
Right.
Your agent probably will.
Right, if you have one.
Yeah, okay. Okay, what else is there? What are the basic, to any dancers, or the classic verse of trends of the dancing or something like that? I mean, the basic trends.
Right now?
Dancing and stuff, yeah.
Or in the past?
Now.
The basic trend in dance right now is a little confusing to me. It's gotten really commercial, which is great because there's more time on TV for dance and film and commercial. So a lot of opportunity, a lot of employment for friends, comrades, coworkers. That's all positive. I think reality TV has brought dance. Wow. Brought dance to a place that it's making it accessible for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Yet there's a lot of style over substance going on. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
And I feel like what that's teaching kids of the next generation is to break your lines and do these kind of contorted things that these older choreographer dancers are doing. But what the little kid doesn't realize is that dancer who can handle that has already gone through ballet and jazz and knows
very important.
Their center of balance. So I guess that's a trend, and I see people skipping over vital parts of their dance education,
which is wrong.
Which makes them a sloppy dancer, but it also pigeonholes them into just that kind of dancing instead of being well versed at everything.
Well, I guess if you're doing hip hop or even that, even if you're doing hip hop, you still have to do.
You have to know something about your balance, about where your center is.
Yeah.
I guess just don't fool yourself. Be really honest with yourself in terms of what level of a dancer you are. And don't think that there's any easy way out, because you might find a shortcut, but maybe because you didn't really take your ballet, you got that great job, but you snapped your calf muscle.
Yes.
Because you really weren't doing it right.
Yes.
So that'll
warming up and
so
stuff
that'll
like
teach
that.
you.
Yeah, that's correct. All right, here you go. What's the secondary I can't believe what's the secondary skills will help a dancer's career?
Oh, we kind of already talked about that. I
mean,
knowing yourself and knowing your business sense and knowing your style and combining all of that to figure out how to market yourself as a brand.
Okay.
Because that's what life is now. I hate it, but you get your Twitter followers, you get your Facebook followers, you have to know your social media, know how to get yourself out there. Don't rely on your agents because it's you. You have to do it. They'll help you once you get the job.
Right.
But you need
to
market
aren't you
yourself.
locked in with your agents and stuff like that once you're signed up with them?
But that doesn't mean they find you all of your work. You could find it on your own. You just have them negotiate your deal and be involved.
Oh, okay. All right.
So there's ways to get yourself in the forefront rather than just waiting for a call for an audition.
True, true.
Making videos, doing what you guys are doing,
Right,
doing
right,
what I
right,
do, and
right.
experiment and say, here's our art, let's put it out there. Does anybody want it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, don't just sit on your butt on your couch waiting for an audition that you're not going to get
Or
anyhow.
somebody to call you, whatever, because the
Yeah.
phone might not even ring.
There's 4,000 people in town waiting on their couches, ready to go to an
Oh, yeah,
audition.
that's
So
true.
you better be proactive.
Yeah. How important it is to have a good agent?
I think it's important. I think that you need to find the right balance of somebody who, if you're new talent, is going to push you and get you seen by the right people and help develop your career. But then that means there's a give and take. You have to do what they say. If they say
Right.
go to this workshop, you go.
Right.
If they say go take Marguerite Derrick's class and stand in front because we know she's going to like you, then just take their advice and spend the $25 and do it. Because
Right.
you could have a job the next day. So the other part about having an agent is you want to make sure that your agency either has a lot of different departments that can cover
Acting.
well, I mean acting,
Fine.
but I'm talking about dance jobs. Like
Okay.
if your goal is you're living in Los Angeles, but you maybe want to be on a Broadway show someday, make sure they have an Actors Equity department where they represent dancers for musical theater. Because a lot of people will go to an agency thinking that's part of the package, and that's a whole other thing. The union rules are different, everything's different. So if that agency doesn't have somebody trained in that, then maybe that's not the right place for you.
Right, right.
Or maybe they have an affiliate that you can ask about.
Well, you could also interview a lot of these agencies, before you get into.
And I know all the agencies here, and there's, 4 or 5 really great dance agencies in town that people can feel safe with, people can trust, they're going to forward their careers, they're going to book them on jobs, they're going to make them feel safe and have good, safe contracts with protection, I, right now and for a while, and hopefully forever, I will remain and be with MSA, with McDonald Selznick Associates. I like the way they do business. I like the time that they spend with me and helping develop certain parts of my career. And I like that they're open to my ideas, and I bring them some business, and then they'll help me negotiate certain things.
It's not like you have to do what they want you to do. It's one of those give.
It's a give and take, but it feels really nice, and
That's
we're
good.
very invested in,
Yeah.
in each other, and I feel like they have my best interests out there. And
Well, that's important,
Yeah.
Because without that, I mean, your relationship with them is, what is it? You won't
and
have
it's
it.
important that you keep an active relationship.
Right.
You don't want to hound anybody and stalk them and call them 3 times a day. But
Is
you
that true?
do, well, that could get
Can you
annoying.
give me a job now or something?
And these days you don't even want to call. You just shoot an
Oh,
email.
really? Yeah, true,
See, people are
true.
too busy for calls. Even though I'm old school and I'll do it.
Yeah, me too.
But
Yeah, I like that.
I feel like that reminder call of once a week or twice a week. Hey, this is so and so. I'm one of your new clients. Thank you so much for taking me on. This is what I'm working on this week. Do you have any auditions for me? Or here's an
Right.
idea I want to pitch to you. Can you get me seen by this person? To just show that you're taking the initiative.
Right,
And you're being professional. You want to make them money. You want to make you money. You want to build
Exactly.
your resume.
right,
So
right.
just be proactive and
You
don't be
just
too
keep-
shy.
Yeah, because if you're shy and just waiting for them to call you, then that's not going to be a good thing for you either.
You're just waiting.
You're waiting for nothing. Okay. We've already talked about this.
What?
How much money a professional dancer.
It depends. There's definite set rates. So, if you're doing a broad... Is this the same song? Feels different.
I think it's the same song, but let's do it.
Do you like my choreography? So if you do choreography like this, you're really, really, really high paid. Just so you know. Okay, the music's done. But if you do choreography like this,
You're not going to get
it's
anywhere.
not as much.
It's something that gives you like kind of a fire, fireball.
Yes, fiery pays more. For
All right.
dance salaries can range from a lot of free work,
Okay.
which is terrible, but it gives you some experience. There's
Yeah.
reasons to do free work. You do it as a favor to the choreographer because they owe you one,
Right.
okay?
Exactly.
Or you get a chance to go to Egypt and dance in front of the Sphinx, but it's for some free thing, but you want the experience of going to Egypt to dance in
What?
front of the Sphinx.
So you can get.
So you just you have your
Cake or
meals, you
something.
get your meals covered, and you just chalk it up to experience, and you've been to
It's
Egypt.
true. And you see the pyramids, right?
And you've seen something.
Something.
You ride a camel. But Then,
And
you know, if you're like
sweaty.
doing a TV show, there's a minimum from SAG-AFTRA that they can pay you. If
Yeah,
you're doing an episode of this, if you're doing a commercial, depending on how you're booked, you're getting $400 to $600 a day plus residuals, which could be a good career
Right,
if your
right.
commercial hits.
Right,
If you're
right.
doing a Broadway show, I don't even know what the minimum is right now for equity, but let's round it somewhere between $1,500 to $1,700 a week. But you're doing 8 shows a week plus rehearsals during the day. Sometimes it's a full-time
Paid
job.
for rehearsals paid for too.
It's there's a
Included.
certain amount of rehearsals within that weekly contract
Okay.
that are
What about
included.
meals and all these things?
Well, no, it's a Broadway show, so it's local.
It's
hire.
local,
You don't
okay.
get a per diem. You don't get meals. You go home.
You go. You go.
You eat at home
Okay.
in your little 2x4 apartment in New York City.
Or brown bag.
That's
Yeah.
$4,000 a month.
Oh,
So basically, to be a Broadway dancer, yeah, it sounds great. You're making $1,800 a week, but your
Hey.
rent is $3,500
Oh my
a
God.
month. So you have to
So-
kind of get a waitering job or a bartending job or
Or,
just
or you have to have other people to
Yeah,
get
combined
an apartment.
households.
Right, yeah.
or
2,500, 10 people probably.
teach a yoga class once in a while.
There you go.
You know,
Or go out in the street and do those, dancing on
Put
the
your
street.
hat out,
Yeah. Hey,
become a hooker.
whatever.
There's a lot of options here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess we're going for the legal options. So the last one
Okay.
you can erase, except in Amsterdam.
Okay, last, what words of wisdom would you offer to the young dancers today?
Just dance with your heart. Do it for real. Don't fake it. You can muster up emotion and think that you're giving some great thing, but if it doesn't come from that place,
It will show in your face.
it's just never going to be right.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's a bigger issue than business and casting and money and agents and college or not college or whatever. If this is truly not coming from a real place and you have not done your best to make all the technical aspects as good as they can be so you can show this true emotion
Right.
through dance, then don't do it.
Right.
If you can do it showing true emotion and it feels like something and it's your language,
Right.
then that is your language. Then that is natural. It's a natural fit. And you'll know.
Yes.
You will know
You know.
my Jedi Knight.
Okay, well, let me see. You are, hearsay, you're going to travel.
I am.
You're going outside of the country.
I'm going to Mars,
You're going to Mars.
which is way outside of the country.
Okay.
Yes. No, I'm going to. I'm not going to say yet. I don't want to hex it.
No, okay. But you are going somewhere.
I'm going somewhere international
Yes.
to see about a possibility.
Yes.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay, and the next time.
Next episode, I will have an answer.
Okay.
I hope.
Yes.
I hope I have a contract.
Or you might not even see me because you're so big that you'll be
Or we will have to have Myla and crew
like.
fly to location to do our next interview there because I heard you know some people there.
Of course.
But we're not saying it.
We're not saying it. We're not saying it. Anyways, hugs and kisses.
Thank you. And listen, we have music
Thank you.
for our play out.
Yeah. There again.
Sweet.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Here's how we'll get rid of you.
Bye.